Welcome back and prepare to be bedazzled because today I'm going to be shedding light on the top 15 reasons why I will not work a full-time employee job again. So why am I going to desist, abstain, and refrain from working a full-time employee job in the pending future? Without further ado, without further delay, without further procrastination, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much to my dismay, much to my consternation, much to my chagrin, much to my grief, much to my agony, much to my agitation, and much to my irritation, most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand are deemed to be dead-end, highly time-depleting, debilitating, minimum wage, dispiriting, unfulfilling, undesirable, harrowing, distressful, brutally wretched, inevitably agonizing jobs that not only drain almost all of an employee's sacrosanct time, but that also do not pay him anywhere close to 1/4 of a subsistence wage for affording housing. So this segues into my first point, which is there are no redeeming qualities appertaining to new work in most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand. They have zero positive facets. And of course, the second reason is that there's a chance that you may not get paid. The employer may have the employee attendance system configured so that if you're negligibly tardy, your biometric punch-ins may get nullified. And seeking relief in court is not an option because if an employer reneges on paying you for working a shift for a prolonged period of time, the fees associated with retaining an attorney are going to preponderantly outweigh the amount of money forgone from unpaid wages. So employers want to minimize their labor costs. The profits they generate trickle up. They are reserved for the executives in tandem with the shareholders. There are a copious amount of chief executive officers who earn over $165 million per year, which is tantamount to earning over $79,326.92 per hour. Are they 169% more productive than their assistant managers? No. But it is what it is. If you work a real private sector employee job based on voluntary demand, it's not going to be conducive to generating any more wealth than a pittance of fiat currency. It only provides an infinitesimal amount of short-term relief. And of course, the third reason is that it keeps you perpetually impoverished. If it is your only source of income, it's going to dispossess you of almost all your waking hours. And the only way to get out of poverty is to build up sizable recurring revenue streams that are steep enough to offset your recurring expenses. You should work in capacities that could provide you a chance to attain financial stability and financial security. So you want your sizable recurring revenue streams on autopilot to offset your recurring expenses. So hone in on building up sizable recurring revenue streams on autopilot by working in entrepreneurial capacities where you have an unfettered, uncapped, limitless earnings potential. And of course, the fourth reason is that if you work most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand, you're more than likely going to be micromanaged, and this can be a harrowing experience, to say the least. There's no reason why managers should hound employees about the minutia. It just amplifies the stress appertaining to working the real private sector job based on voluntary demand. It renders it all the more acutely stressful, and it exacerbates the work session. And of course, the fifth reason is that if it's your only source of income, then it provides you with a 0% chance to attain financial stability. And reason number 6 is akin to reason number 5, which is that if the real private sector employee job based on voluntary demand as your only source of income, then it also provides you with a 0% chance to attain financial security. The payout that it provides is not high enough to provide you with any semblance of financial stability nor financial security. That's quite disappointing, but it is what it is. And reason number 7 is that it provides no benefits. It does not furnish you with any benefits at all. And reason number 8 is that the real private sector job based on voluntary demand does not furnish you with a pension. Reason number 9 is that it pays you minimum wage. So at most you're going to have a negligible amount of purchasing power. And your purchasing power is fleeting, evanescent, and ephemeral when you work most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand, because the fiat currency that it provides you is aptly preordained to get depleted shortly after it's provided to you, because it is such a negligible amount of fiat currency that it is aptly just going to get depleted shortly after you receive it. It's not enough to even provide you with anywhere close to 1/4 of a subsistence wage for affording housing. And reason number 10 is that most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand have eminently brutal working conditions and render you at a high probability of getting maimed. So you're highly susceptible to experience chronic inflammation when you work most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand. And most of them require strenuous manual labor. You may be constantly lifting objects that are 25 to 75 pounds. You may be exposed to carcinogens, neurotoxins, endocrine disruptors. There are a copious amount of people who work real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand who revel in smoking, and unfortunately, if you're working most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand, you're going to render yourself at a higher probability of being exposed to secondhand smoke, which is deadly. And of course, reason number 11 is that it renders you at a higher probability to contract plantar fasciitis. Your plantar fascias will more than likely be extremely inflamed when you're working most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand. Reason number 12 is that it renders you at a higher probability to contract rotator cuff tears. Reason number 13 is that it renders you at a higher probability to contract tendonitis. Reason number 14 is that it renders you at a higher probability to contract varicose veins. Or reason number 15 is that it renders you at a higher probability to contract floaters. If you have jobs in the warehousing industry, in the manufacturing industry, there are going to be forklifts or high-lows that have these luminous strobe lights that are profusely gleaming in your eyes, and they can permanently damage your eyes. If you're working a dead-end job in the manufacturing industry, you may be expected to assemble 1,000 to 1,600 vehicle parts per shift, and simultaneously keep up with the conveyor belt, and also simultaneously assemble heavy-duty containers and simultaneously pack them in a specific fashion for every heavy-duty container. So the expectations are unrealistic and delusional, and it will provide you with a dearth of fiat currency at most if you're able to sustain working one of these real private sector employee jobs based on voluntary demand for a prolonged period of time. So I don't ever plan on working a full-time employee job ever again. Thanks for watching. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.